Hello, hello. I am TC, your girlfriend, not girlfriend, and the most honest F buddy you've never had. Today's topic, the pros and cons of friends with benefits relationships. Let's get into it. I will start with the pros because I love friends with benefits relationships and I can pontificate upon their positives for a long time. But for now, I'll just give you my list. The first one is you are free to do you. You are a free agent and you are out here for you. So this is the time in your life where you are able to make decisions that work best for you with respect and consideration for whomever it is that you involve yourself in this dynamic with. But at the end of the day, you are free to move, honey. The next thing, which kind of falls right in line with what I just said, but you are able to be selfish here. So when you're in a relationship, there are a lot more compromises, a lot more things to consider, a lot more things that you have to do to make you both work. When you're in a friends with benefits relationship, the only thing that you're making work is the space for you guys to have fun in. That's it. This is all about fun. There's not much to argue about because your finances are not tied to his finances, and whatever religion that they're in, well, you don't have to worry about thinking too much about that because you guys don't have kids and you're not figuring out what the kids are going to follow. And it's none of that. You're allowed to be selfish. You don't have to think about no kids and no him and no none of that. You think about you. What is it that you are trying to do in life? What is it that you are trying to accomplish? And what do you need to get there and do that? And that person is either there in the fun time or they can't be present. That's it. Nothing else to worry about. This is you time. This is you time. The next thing is good sex, great sex. When you are in a especially for female, well, I don't know, people in general, because it's a touchy subject and you don't really want to tell somebody when they may not be hitting the spot just right because you don't want it to damage their ego. But here's the thing. You're in a friends with benefits relationship, and a lot of that is predicated upon the sexual intimacy of that relationship. So if it's not good, then why are you there? So that's the fun part about friends with benefits relationships. You don't really have to suffer through bad sex. You can make changes. And if this person can't adjust, then you can go over here where it's better because you have the right to do that, period. Communication is key. So, if you want things to be better, I would definitely try to figure out how to best communicate that with the person so that you can continue this fun and very free and very enjoyable friends with benefits dynamic between the two of you. But you don't have to stay. The next thing is you get to share intimacy without commitment. Who doesn't love that? Who doesn't love that when they're in this era of their life? I'm not saying it's forever, but you get to be intimate with somebody. You get to, like for me in my situation, I got to come home to a person every day. I got to talk about whatever stress I was having during the day and talk to somebody who cares to hear about it. They may not want to hear the whole thing, like he didn't want to sit there through the whole story, but he would though. He would. You know why? Because we want to have some sex afterwards. But just kidding. However, you just get to come home and be intimate with somebody on a more frequent basis than you would if it was just like a booty call or something like that. And you get to do it without commitment, where commitment comes with responsibility and monogamy and all of these other things. You don't have to worry about that. So you still get to reap the benefits of that close connection with the person without feeling like you are tied down with the responsibilities of a connection of similar closeness. And the last thing is there's not much to argue about. What are we arguing about? I said something about, I touched on this a little bit before, but like, we're not talking about money. We're not talking about whatever it is that you're doing in your time away from me. We're not, what are we arguing about? I don't see anything to argue about. There's no kids, there's no house, there's a house involved in my situation, but still, it's not too much to argue about, to be honest. And that's great. You're just there for the fun things. You guys literally just get to be the fun person in their life. And who doesn't love that? Who doesn't find that as a positive? All right, we've come to the part of the video where we have to go into the negative stuff. So here are some of the cons that could come with being involved in a friends with benefits relationship. The first thing is you may be out of control of when it ends. I know for me, I like an element of control, which is why I try to make sure that things are in place so that I can prepare myself if things are going to come to an end. The reason why my last situation ended negatively was because I was literally taken way out of control of that situation. So you run the risk of that kind of thing happening. You can be totally out of control of when things change or end between the two of you. And if you're having a really good time, that's really going to suck. The next one is you could possibly become too attached and get hurt. And that doesn't always look like that person leaving and going and starting an actual relationship elsewhere. That can look like you having to watch this person be involved with other people while you're slowly falling in love with them, or while you're already madly in love with them. And you feel like you can't say anything because you like agreed upon this type of no strings attached relationship, and now you're like strings are super attached to that person. So you run the risk of getting hurt by having to watch or being tossed out. Sorry. The next thing, which is, it's pretty scary. That's why you need to make sure that you and that person communicate very well and that that person is a responsible person. In these type of dynamics, you have a higher risk of catching an STD. It doesn't have to be as crazy as catching anything that you can't get rid of, but even let's say getting gonorrhea or getting chlamydia or getting something that you pass on to someone else. Well, if you have too many friends with benefits and they have multiple friends with benefits and their friends with benefits have friends with benefits, right? You're getting into a large pool of people that you can potentially catch an STD from. And it's harder to track down because you guys are in non-committal relationships with maybe multiple people. This is not to say that you should enter into a friends with benefits relationship with another person who you say, hey, we can only be involved with one another because I don't want to catch an STD. That you can't really say that. That's what I'm telling you. It's just a risky game that you're playing. It's like Russian roulette, honestly. But it doesn't have to be that dangerous. If they're a responsible person, number one, they are not running around here dicking down everything that they see or vaginaing down everything that they see, right? They are being selective. They are vetting these people. They are looking out for you and your health and safety the same way you should be looking out for them and their health and safety. You guys are getting tested. You guys are using protection for maybe individuals who you are not as close with, or for everybody, honestly. If it's not just you and that person in your friends with benefits dynamic. The last thing is you run the risk of making things awkward or completely destroying any type of ability to have a friend or platonic relationship with this person thereafter. So if you guys end poorly, like my last situation, I no longer have that friend. I can't talk to him. I can't hang with him. I can't do anything with this person who I was spending almost every day with for 3.5 years. That sucks. And that is definitely a potential end to a friends with benefits relationship. And it is a super, super negative because if you enjoy that person in your life and you developed a close connection with that person, it's not going to feel great when you lose them completely. So that's all I have on the cons. I'm definitely a pro FWB girl, but there are some things to keep in mind if you are still like teeter-tottering on making the decision about whether you want to or don't want to enter into this type of dynamic. Definitely consider both things, figure out what's best for you, and go with that. As always, leave any comments below if you want me to maybe dive deeper into some of these things, or if you want me to give more personal experience with some of these pros and some of these cons. That's all I have for today, guys. I will see you guys in the next video.